Hi everyone. So I have some things to announce. First, I got deep into the guts on the app that I record on, and you may notice that the image is unmirrored. So I think that's a win. I had the hardest time figuring it out on this app. And those of you who are asking about personal readings, if it says in the description box they're closed, they're closed. There's nothing more for me to add to that, unfortunately. I'm not going to continue to give estimates for when that's going to be open because I keep having other things that come up, so then people get disappointed. So they're open when it says open, they're closed when it says closed, and that's kind of the end of story. I don't have anything else to report on it. If you're interested in any of the classes, those classes are about to sell out. March will be booked out after that, and there won't be any more available for the month of March, and I won't be booking April until probably the second week in March. So I think that's it. Channel members, your membership reading was set to members, and it got pushed out publicly, but not to everybody, which is kind of interesting. Not everybody saw it. And so I'm trusting that reached the people that it was supposed to reach before it mysteriously disappeared. So members, you will have another collective message that comes out tonight. If you're not able to see the membership link, if you're not able to see the join button beneath my video, it probably means that option's not available in your country. And so there's nothing I can do about that. With that, let's go ahead and get to this message. Okay. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Ooh, there was a catch there. Okay, what is that? Ooh. Okay. Opening up to receive information. Okay. So I'm seeing this, which can be a block, but it's striking me as the rune Gabo. And Gabo is about intersection points, things that are intersecting, things that are coming together, but then I'm seeing it as a crossroads. This image of a rune turning into the crossroads actually came out in my Hecate reading a few days ago, so that might be important for somebody. There's a window and there's a clock. So it's almost like time's running out on a particular window within a crossroads setting. Okay, so whoever I'm reading for, this is a very interesting time in your life that has a lot of change. This might be physical, it might be emotional, but it might be mental. And if you're a really calm and placid person such as myself, you may not notice that the change quite as much, right? You might just be having some things that are restructuring, reorganizing, rearranging in your life. It's not going to feel like this drastic change. For others of you, though, it does. It feels like a drastic change. There seems to be a crossroads of important decisions, and these decisions are very important to our path. Not only on a collective level, but on an individual level as well. It's not just our individual future, but it's a collective future that we share. Okay, there's a decision many of you have been mulling over, and mulling. It almost feels like we've been mulling over this one for a bit, weeks, months, some of you maybe years. And so this is a spirit guide message. Okay, I'm getting that vibe. Okay, so this is a collective of guides that's stepping forward for a group of people who have a decision that they need to make. This decision is very important to the future phase that they're entering into, and deciding what that future phase will be, but that window is closing to make that decision. We like to say things like, if it's meant for you, it won't pass you by, and I like to believe that, right? But the truth of it is, everything's a choice, right? Decision's a choice, indecision's a choice. We make our choices, and we could go this way, and we could have these great things, but we can also choose to miss out on those great things and learn the lessons that are involved in that. Nothing here is owed to you, right? That's not how this works, unfortunately. And there's a question that's being posed in this, and that question is, are you choosing that this next era of your life will carry with it this indecision, the flavor, the lessons of the past, or are you consciously choosing to move into an empowered and actualized way of aligning with your self-focused passion? Interesting. And I want to say it's not self-centered, right? There's a difference between self-focused and self-centered. When we make our passions about others, and it's entirely about others and what we receive from others, there's issues of control that come in with that, right? When we really center it on ourselves and what it is that lights us up and what it is that makes us happy, that's really where we become self-focused, and this is where we start to blossom. So this seems to be the thing for somebody, is really figuring out what it is that you want, but understanding that if you've been mulling over this for a very long time, you have to figure it out. It's very much it's an energy of shit or get off the pot. Like time is running out in some sense. Let's see. Somebody needs to understand, and I said this yesterday, so this is something that's coming out in the collective. Someone needs to understand that sometimes there is no right answer. Your path is literally being carved by the footsteps that you're taking. And so it is about your choice, right? It's like leap. And that's the energy right there. In a nutshell, leap. Take the leap. Okay. In other words, what are you passionate about? What do you want? I don't know why they brought me back to that. And my heart's starting to warm up. What are you passionate about? And what do you want? You're being asked one question. If you knew that there were no limits and no chance of failure, what would you do? Right? So we get into an interesting philosophy discussion there with that. And we'll get to that. They're giving me symbols right now. And so if you're new to my channel, the symbols may resonate with you. They may not. If they resonate with you, it just means that this message, you might want to pay extra attention to it. Okay, the first symbol is a vulture. The second vulture, two vultures, I don't know. The second symbol is a minx. That is an animal, right? Or is it mink? I don't know which one. I don't know which one is called. I think it's minx is what I'm seeing. And then there's, I'm seeing a bag of saltwater taffy, like the little ones that are like pink, yellow, green. They like have that wax stuff around them. The number 9. Okay, they're bringing me past like a red mailbox. I don't know if it's like a red mailbox someone's driving past, but that's the view I have as I'm driving past it in the passenger side window, and I'm seeing a red mailbox. And then there's a little silver chain choker with a heart on it. And then a green rimmed glasses. They're almost like a translucent green. Okay. So if you knew there were no limits, no chance of failure, what would you do? So here's the thing, right? We as people, our egos make it about whether we succeed, right? Whether we succeed or we fail. And that's really not the point on a spiritual level of any of our experiences or any of our choices. It's not about success or failure. It's about what did we learn. And it's also about, do we gradually learn the lesson with grace, or do we always force it into a space where we have to learn it the hard way? Does it always have to come through the tower moments, or can it sometimes come through the temperance, right? Let's see. I'm going to tell you what, like, there's something very important about this energy. I have the 2 of Cups. I'm not seeing this as romance right now. What I'm seeing this two of Cups is, like, and I talk about this a lot on this channel, it's the way that we're showing up and that the universe is showing up for us. There's something in your life that you're really being asked to show up for. And there may be fear that's holding you back. There may be some other thing that gives you like a sense of a fear of failure. The point isn't whether you fail or you succeed. The point is that you have this experience, you know. When we get into issues of like the fear of failure or success, it's really, again, it goes back to that control issue, right? We have to control the outcome. This is where we act from our ego state. You're being asked to let your heart guide you and allow you to have the experience, whether that experience fills you up, you know, or if that experience turns out the way you want, or if that experience breaks you open. Sometimes there are things inside of our life that have to restructure us, and they have to come in. They have to teach us certain lessons so that we can come through it completely different, or with a new philosophy or a new mindset. Are you open to the universe teaching you, or are you stuck in a state where everything has to work out? Everything has to be the best, right? Someone here is being asked to put that down and to allow yourself to trust the universe enough to show up with it and to be brought through things. When we resist that, that's when we have tower after tower after tower after tower, because we have this sense of entitlement, right? Like this is owed to me and I should succeed and I have to have this and I have to have this and everybody else has this. And one of the reasons why everybody else has it is because they're not busy doing that. They're not busy doing this resistance that we involve ourselves in with the universe. Right? Some people, they go with the flow, and notice how the people who go with the flow tend to have things really great happen to them. pay attention to that, right? If you've never paid attention to that, pay attention to that. That's been the biggest lesson in my life. I became friends with Ice Scribe Steph, and like, she just goes with the flow. And I was a very controlling, like domineering person before I met her. And after just observing her and how she goes with the flow and how much easier her life was than mine, that really taught me some things, right? And someone here, you're being asked to just go with the flow and not keep resisting it because of some fear of failure or fear of judgment or fear of whatever it is, right? It's Two of Cups. It's dancing and partnering with life and viewing the successes and failures and the heartbreaks and the openings as part of that dance of life rather than as your enemy or something to fear. Three of Pentacles. Some of you are really working on your foundations at this time, and this may be what this is involving, is your foundations, not only spiritually and emotionally, but maybe even physically in the 3D, right? How we make our money, how we support ourselves, our housing, all those things, they seem to be a little bit up in the air for somebody, and there is a lot of change that's taking place. I've talked briefly about this Wheel of Fortune and the alchemical symbols in there. It's almost like the pieces are coming apart so that they can be restructured together, and this may have something to do, Six of Cups, with things from our past, or with family matters, or for some of you with very close connections, like deep connections. When we see Six of Cups, people always say that that's like karmic connections, right? These are very close soul ties. So for some of you, this may be part of this change. There's something that's deeply transforming within us, the Death card. And so the flavor that this is really throwing to me is that there's something here that's ready to go. It's ready to go. And it may be always holding on to that life raft, always holding on to the shore and not letting yourself just go where the ocean takes you, right? And that's really what life is. All the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. It's just this beautiful ebb and flow of energy that's constantly taking place. And we're the ones that ultimately get to choose whether we see it as our enemy or we understand that there's things in it that is trying to show us, that is trying to speak to us through. I'm going to say something right now. There is an esoteric philosophy, and that is that in the world there are three types of people. There are those who can see, those who can't see but can be shown, and those who cannot see. And when we have this type of energy in our life where we absolutely resist everything from the universe and everything in our life, and we're stuck in like a victim state, and I'm not talking about people who are dealing with a heavy dose of trauma, right? Obviously we go through this when we have that type of trauma, and we have to like work through it, and we have to heal before we're able to get to a place where we have a higher vision over the things that are taking place. It's just not the place for it, right? It's not the time for it. I'm talking about the rest of us, right? If you are constantly in that victimized state and you can't conceive of how to get yourself out of there, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not your reader. And the reason why is because I'm not speaking to people who cannot see. It's nothing personal. It's just that's not who these messages are coming out for, right? The messages are coming out for people who are on their spiritual journey, which is also a healing journey. It's a journey of self-empowerment. And if you're not in the place where you want to empower yourself, my messages aren't your messages. So let's see. Oh my God, you guys, for real. These are so many of the cards that came out in yesterday's reading. Oh my God. Okay, so for some of you, yesterday's reading, obviously the day before his reading, I always link that at the very end of this video. And I mean the chiromancer, the astronomer, the pathless, those all showed up. Okay. You're being asked to adopt a sense of ruthless conviction about your life, about yourself, about who you are, about what it is that you want, understanding that your choice and the force of will behind your choice is dictating your path. Right? We can get into this energy where we sit back, and I'm going to use the term feminine energy just because of the nature of it. It's very watery. It's very fluid. We can sit back in that feminine energy and just wait for everything to come constantly, which is great in some contexts, but it's not great to necessarily navigate your life that way all the time, right? There's things that we want to partake in. There's experiences that we want to have. And sometimes you have to go and you have to do those things. And what somebody's being asked to do is to step up to that plate, face their fears, and rather than, beat them down into a corner, acknowledge them and say, I am afraid of this, or I am a little worried about this, or I don't believe in myself this way, to acknowledge those aspects of ourselves and to integrate those, right? The point isn't to get rid of them. The point is to understand that they're there and to acknowledge that they're there. But as the adult that's operating, you have a choice to go with that feeling or to do what would serve your higher purpose, right? Your best version of yourself. And someone here is being asked to step into that space of being the adult of the inner child rather than letting that scared child be the one behind the driver's seat. Here we have the chiromancer delivering news collaboration. For some of you, this is about creating something together with another person. Again, we have the Two of Cups. This may be a collaboration that some of you are looking at in terms of business. This may just be a collaboration in terms of showing up and allowing people to connect to your energy and you connect to theirs. For some of you, especially if you've been in hermit mode for a very long time, you might have been mulling this over for a while. And the message is take that leap. Again, over and over, take that leap, take that leap. That's just the message coming through. Some of you need to say something between delivering news and then this sword of the king coming through, which is control, reversal of fortune. Some of you are controlling something that you need to say, and you need to say it. You need to say it in order to change the energy dynamic that is taking place inside this situation with the Wheel of Fortune, right? There may be some sort of energy dynamic that's kind of unstable or it feels kind of weird. And in order to get that to move, there's something you need to say. And I think that somebody's really holding themselves back from doing that with these two cards. Here with the king over the Wheel of Fortune, which is control, reversal of fortune, again, there's energy changing. It's this energy is changing. We're moving from one phase into the next phase. And in order to step into that phase in a powerful way, we have to find a way to dissociate from that fear, right? It doesn't mean that you're not feeling it, or that, sense of imposter syndrome, or not believing that you can have a thing, whatever it is, or that I'm not good enough, whatever it is, right? They're all fear-based at the end of the day. And to understand that that's just an area, right, where you can pour more love into yourself. You can love that space of yourself. You don't have to get rid of it. You're allowed to feel it. You're allowed to feel that way. The point is, be the adult and step outside of it and do the adult thing, right, which is what we want for ourselves. It's about, this is an energy where somebody's really ready to graduate to this next level within themselves. And so this is a beautiful energy. It's the spirit guides are coming through and basically like just trying to give that little nudge, like, no, you're ready. You can grow those wings. You can do that thing. So here what we have is the astronomer. We have discovery, augury. I can never pronounce that word. Augury. And then we have the Six of Cups. Again, with the Six of Cups, there might be a connection someone has where there needs to be a sense of discovery. I said this yesterday with the Six of Cups in astronomy, their stars might be important to this connection. There may even be a sense of like some sort of mission or something that we're supposed to fulfill or do together involved in this connection. Make sure that runs both ways and that's not a one-way street. Again, we're trying to release control in this story, right? We're trying to accept and allow and just have the experience. There is also this energy that's coming through in here that we may see something about the past as we step forward. And this might make sense of some things. Here what we have is we have the Death card to the pathless. This is where we transform that energy. We no longer are in a position where we're like, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't know where I'm going. I don't, what is my purpose? Blah, blah, blah. Which we all go through, right? We all go through that. What I'm seeing here is somebody stepping into a higher state of being. And that higher state of being often is more willful. We tend to think it's a little bit more less of that. But that's how we go stagnant inside of our lives, right? It's when we get that fire inside of ourselves. That fire, that's a divine fire, right? Don't ever forget that. That spark, that passion, that drive, that's divinity inside of you. And that is something that somebody is fanning and cultivating in this next path as long as they can learn to step outside the fear. Whatever it is you're holding yourself back from, take that leap. Whatever it is you've been mulling over for a long time, take that leap, right? The point is not whether it succeeds or it fails or it feels better or any of these things. It's that you are enacting this honor of this sacred fire that's inside of you. You're honoring that more than you're honoring the fear and the safety and the security and the comfort and all the ideas of success and failure that our ego latches onto because that's, from a young age. get good grades, do good in school, do good in sports, succeed, succeed, succeed. And this is one of the things that really keeps us stuck. This is one of those devil chains and the devil cards, right? And somebody here, it's very important to release that. That's the message from the spirit guides. Take that leap. With the death card to the pathless, we're starting to understand that we don't have to feel aimless. We don't have to feel pathless. We're able to make decisions and make choices and forge our own path ahead. Now this card is coming up. And this is what we seem to be afraid of. If you notice, it was on the bottom. So this is like the undercurrent of everything. It's the gambler. Are you going to take that gamble and take that risk and, risk suffering a loss and possibly gain something very beautiful? Or are you never going to take that risk at all and never know? Right? Like I said, there's something, especially with that Wheel of Fortune, man, there's something about a window of time or a window of opportunity is closing on something. And once you don't have access to this thing or don't have the ability to step into whatever it is you're supposed to be taking a leap on, how would you feel? How would you feel if you never got to do that thing? Maybe spend some time considering that if you are, kind of on the fence. If you never got to do that, if you never got to have that, if you never got to pursue whatever it is, how would you feel? Okay. And then we have here the painter, productivity and creation. So when I see the painter, this always makes me feel that divine self inside of us trying to create exactly what it wants, right? And again, this doesn't always have success behind it. It's about our experiences. It's not the destination. It literally is the journey. I'm a person who, to decompress, I get in my car and I drive all over the place. If you're my members, you've seen pictures from West Virginia, you've seen pictures from northern Michigan, you've seen pictures from all over this swathe of the US, and I just get in my car and I drive, and I might drive for days. Some of these recorded messages, they go out on days when I'm out there, right? And sometimes people come with me, and the places where we're trying to go are closed or we can't access them, especially if like roads are washed out, like in the hills and stuff. And I'm always telling people, and it's a little strange to me, right? I'm always telling people it's not about getting to the place. It's about hanging out together and having the drive and having the experience. And we're so programmed to focus on the end goal as people that it's really hard for us to conceive of that. And it's really hard for people to slip into that mode of, I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying the experience. And this is why we feel like we have to hold on to things and we can't let them go, and we have to force them to be what we want them to be, and we create stories and narratives in our head to make them fit that, right? It's okay to let go. It's okay to just be. It's okay to just play. It's okay to just experience. It's okay to have failure looming in your face, but you know that what you're doing right now is what you're totally passionate about. That's okay. You'll figure it out later. Trust yourself, right? More than anything, if you can't trust the universe, trust yourself. Yourself is guiding you towards your evolution, and it requires all kinds of experiences, beautiful ones, hurtful ones, awesome ones, painful ones, boring ones, right? Trust yourself that it's navigating you towards your highest good at all times. So whoever this message is for, yes, I hope you take that leap. You have something amazing that, is kind of has been inspired inside of you, and it's time. So whoever this message is for, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this reading, please like it and leave me a comment, and until next time.